What do you want to talk about today, Jack?
GoFest.
GoFest! Mm-hmm. Okay, what about GoFest?
Was
it cool?
I liked it. There's a lot of complainers out there. Like, Niantic would put out something of like, hey, look at Spark fight so-and-so, fight Sierra. Watch Cliff fight Blanche or something random. They're trying to get you involved. And instead of, like, feeding into the team mentality, they're like, my day one sucked. I got one shiny and I played for hours.
Okay.
And again, that might be real. Like, that might have been the case, but it's just like, I didn't see many positive messages to Niantic. Me personally, whole different take. What was yours?
Okay. Well, before we get into that,
okay,
I just wanted to welcome everybody to the After Raid Hours.
Hi, guys. Sorry.
It's your favorite local Aurora, Colorado podcast, Pokemon Go centric, hosted by your man, JackJack1620.
See?
And JayTi7N. That's me. Hello.
Oh, gosh.
Hi.
Stop.
But yeah, we had GoFest, which is what we wanted. We wanted a remote GoFest. I think, let's talk about a couple things here. One, it cost $15.
Yes.
Was it worth it?
Money
Just real
wise?
quick, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. To me, it was worth it, and we can dive into that in a little bit. The whole, I think, it ran pretty smoothly. I mean, a lot of this remote play and like even regular GoFest, right, is like, we had a little bit of weather on Saturday, the main day that I think we all wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately the event was pretty good. And then I'm trying to think of like some other aspects that we want to talk about.
How were the missions? Did you think the missions were hard or easy?
Easy and whack. But we can get into that. Okay. But yeah, so long story short, as you guys know, we just had GoFest 2020.
Yep.
Yay!
One positive thing to come out of this year.
Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting. I think it was awesome. I saw a stat the other day. I think collectively we trainers caught almost 1 billion Pokemon just over the weekend.
And I think they said the average was like 15 kilometers per player walked. There was over...
Not bad for playing in your home.
Not bad. Like, all the diehard people who are out there walking their butts off to balance out the people who are just sitting at home. It's not too shabby.
And then, did you see any other fun stats with all that?
It was like they talked about researches, but again, some of that stuff I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it wasn't hard.
No, it was really
And then it's like Pokemon caught. I was like, I'm just focused. Like, I wish they would have had like shinies caught. Or something like that. Like, the average person caught this many shinies. That's a stat I would have loved to have seen.
Would have been interesting just to see where you fell on that kind of meter. Because, like, I think if you played pretty well... So, I was... Ultimately, I think I got a really... whatchamacallit? I got a pretty good, I think 13 or 14 total shinies. But I didn't play too much both days. Like, my Saturday plans got completely crushed. And then I played more on Sunday when we went walking around. But ultimately, I was still fairly pleased with being able to even play just like on my couch or more stationary because I was on, I was at home in the morning because I had other plans, and then that got delayed, and then like the weather came, and I was still in the middle of other things. So most of the time, I wasn't really walking on Saturday, but I still got a good amount of shinies overall, and I was pretty pleased with the shinies I did get. Some of them were kind of lame, like Mudkip. But I had the opportunity of doing Mudkip Community Day, so it is what it is. That's going to be lame to me, but it might be cool to people that didn't have that.
Yeah.
However, just little nitpicky things. I do wish the shiny rate was still a little bit better than it was.
Yes.
But I don't consider the passing or failing grade on this Pokemon Go Fest to be based on shinies caught, and I think that's where you see a lot of the complaints.
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of curious with some of the people that complained, and obviously if you were a player that played this time that didn't like it, definitely share your comments, like on our YouTube page or whatever, or message us, because I think it's interesting, because again, like when we went to Go Fest in 2019 in Chicago, and we were in the field, boots to the ground, hauling ass. I think I maybe got like 9.
Yeah, and you've heard it here first. I got 4.
Yeah, and like we were there, and like again, that was again like that wasn't their first rodeo for GoFest. Like that was the second time they had done it, right?
Yeah.
Because the first time it totally got bought out by bots and it was a complete shit show. But at GoFest in Chicago, they had more experience. There wasn't as many players, and I think that had more hiccups than what we experienced for this. Because I played both days pretty actively. Like, I was starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, boots to the ground. I had my backpack. I had my waters. I had my umbrella. I had a sun hat. Like, I was ready to go. And the first half an hour, and I think it also depends on where you're at and your phone, of course.
Yeah.
I have a newer iPhone, like second. So what number are we on? I
11.
always forget. So I had an iPhone 10.
Yeah.
With unlimited data, and that the first half an hour wasn't registering anything. And that's where immediately the first thing that came to mind is like, if these damn lounges that they set up are messing this game up, I'm going to be so pissed. But on my iPhone 11, things were going smoothly. I was able to catch things. I got like a shiny Pika Visor Charmander within minutes, and I was like, whoa, like, okay, so things are here. The Darmokers were hanging out, and things were good. And then after that 30 minutes, then the game kind of like mellowed out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I always think I was really analyzing the game to be like, okay, what new things are here? There's the little lounge thing that they set up where trainers could do stuff.
Yeah.
Did and you visit all those missions. I visited just like, well, no, I didn't, because I think that was like a whole separate thing.
It was like a website or something, I thought.
No, F that. I did not have time for that. But I wasn't sure if its interactions with the game were doing anything, because if you went to the tasks, there was like a little counter. So first day you had an active increasing thing going on as players were completing the little missions.
The challenges.
Yeah. Yes. And I was like, I wonder if this is slowing down the play, because this is a new thing and it's accruing live data globally, or at least by region who's starting and playing the game.
Yeah, ours was like friends list based, and so I noticed when I was playing, and I was trying to keep track of that because I was like, oh, I'm throwing more great balls than everybody or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, the biggest thing I was worried about, because like you said, they're tracking all that data, but my friends list wasn't working for like 90% of the time I was playing.
I saw that comment, and my friends list was working perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and that's dual phoning it and trying to stay sane with the sun and everything. Mm-hmm. So like I saw that comment and I was like, damn, that must suck, you know, because I was popping gifts left and right because I was like, don't send anything. Let's see what this friendship thing has. And obviously all those fair weather friends, I'll call them, who have been sitting on gifts for fucking months, all decided now's the time to open.
Yeah.
So then they're like, hey, like, send gifts. And I'm like, fuck you, fam. Like,
such a gifts.
Yeah, I send you gifts all the time. And I wish I could do more, but you don't play. You don't give a fuck. But because they're like, we're going to give you rare candy, that was a great incentive. I think that's an incentive Niantic should keep. What was
the rare candy output? Was it one per gift? Or was
one
it a couple?
Per gift.
Okay.
So, and they said you can open up a max of 200 gifts. So if you have a full friends list, or you have an old gift and that they open, you could still send them another gift, so you can double it up. So people could have been double dipping, but you could get a max of like 200 rare candies.
Pretty nice.
Which I was like, hey, if you're struggling for rare candies, that was the ideal time. But again, to make that $15 more than just a shiny count, you had that rare candy increase. Yeah. You had all the candies from all the different Pokemon types that you don't see. Like, I was playing our buddy's like account, and he got a shiny Gibble. First Gibble that appeared on the screen. I was like, of course he did.
Yeah, that account's pretty lucky.
Yeah, and as we progress through the hours, like, I really loved the quests and the typing per hour.
I did like that, and I like how they split it up. You know, like, because it was like what, fire, water, grass,
then friend and battle,
fighting, and then friend or whatever. Either way, I like how they split it up hour by hour that way, because I thought it was going to be fire for the first 2 hours, then water for the next 2 hours, then grass, and then that's the day.
Yeah,
I like that they kind of gave you like a split, like you can play a lot in the morning or you can play a lot in the afternoon and still kind of reap the same benefits. Yes. Or double dip if you're playing all day, you know. Yeah. For me, because again, my game day plans for playing GoFest on Saturday got crushed. You know, I got to enjoy most of it, like in the morning, and then I went out. I took the pups to MVP, and I got to enjoy the rest of it. You know, and I think I was mainly out there with the friendship, and I was mostly looking forward to the fighting,
the battle
ones. Because those are my favorite spawns.
They had some good Pokemon out.
But yeah, so I mean, I got to enjoy, even though my day was kind of all over the place, I got to enjoy kind of the whole breadth of what Saturday had to offer. Even though I didn't get to play the way I wanted to, and I still came away fairly, positive about the whole thing.
Yeah, and I know like how day one progressed. Other things I enjoyed was you got to see the timer for how long that window is going to be there.
Yes.
I didn't mind the little graphics of like the fire or the water, but I'm just wondering if, like, it wasn't really necessary. I think, and I'm hoping that didn't affect the gameplay in any way. It's just like extra.
You're talking about with all the confetti?
Yeah, like it was cute. I give it that, but I'm just hoping that didn't affect how much was loading, because everyone having extra graphics loading in their screen, if your phone's not used to things like that. Like I know playing on my iPhone 6, just like in battles, the graphics for like the typing when you're trying to click through to do battles is hardcore 8-bit, like nasty looking, and I'm like in my game's just trying to process that. So I'm wondering how that might have fared in terms of affecting the speed. But again, I'm not gonna want to dive into that. But I definitely liked the little timer clock. I liked the typings by hour. Because I was like you, I thought I was going to go 2-hour stints, and then it was like on the hour, everything changed. And I liked the fact it wasn't like the spotlight hours or something. Like once that's there and it fades out, like that hour ends, that everything's gone, and then there's like a weird delay. Mm-hmm. As soon as it changed types, like the Pokemon were there in an instant.
Yeah, like instead
that was smooth.
Instead of Heatmore, it was the
like
a water
Quillfish.
Yeah, Quillfish or something.
Yeah, and they had it like down, so I appreciated that. So those are those minute details that I was like, that was smooth. And the fact that it ran from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., because I had tried, again, most people, if you're out walking, could probably only walk for maybe 3 to 6 hours, depending on your backup battery.
Yeah.
But running 2 phones, I can maybe go 3 to 4 hours, and then I was like, my phones need to charge. They're struggle busing. And so then I was just sitting in my car, and obviously for people who aren't aware of Aurora's climate, like the protests are still going on, and like rightfully so. And with that, they blocked off some of the areas, so it was like kind of added unknowns and having to deal with that.
Yeah.
But again, if you're a dedicated player, you're going to play, and obviously everyone was like, stay safe. Be mindful of your environment, just like Niantic puts in the games, but obviously you should have had that from common sense and good parenting. But after that, you just kind of maneuver and you figure out ways to still play, so you use your resources. I parked outside of a restaurant that I normally get food at, or I would get food at, that had good stops, and I just sit there, let phones charge, refuel my body, and go. But that was one thing I noticed, is even after all that walking, my body wasn't sore. I was just kind of like, I just got to get more of these Pokemons.
Yeah.
And that was my focus point. And day 2, but do you have anything else to add for day 1? Like your overall...
The only thing I wish, and this will go into day 2 also, but I think the only thing I wanted to see a little bit more was, I think, more robust on the special research thing. Like, on one hand, it made sense to make it easier just because of our current, pandemic climate and being unable to play like we would normally play most of the time. Like, people still went out to different parks and big crowded areas. Well, not necessarily crowded, but dense areas in terms of like Pokestops and gyms and stuff. And it was nice to see that the show wasn't like too many people out per se. But ultimately, we don't get to play like we would at a GoFest physically, or even Community Day or whatnot, for the most part. So they had to cater the game towards that. I did really like the incense spawn rate. I think it was like every minute, or it felt like every 30 seconds. There's just like pop. And it wasn't like they just gave you garbage. Like most of my incense spawns were really good. I mean, that's because that's how you play from home, right? Like from my house, I'm unfortunately a little too far away from a couple of stops.
At least you got to stop close enough.
That's true. I could just like run out to the end of the cul-de-sac and hit that stop real quick. But anyway,
reach.
I'm just a little too far out, so I can't hit the stops from the house. But I can play pretty comfortably there, and there's pretty good spawn points. I'm like across the street from a gas station, which usually has decent spawns, and the neighborhood has pretty decent spawns. But anyway, the incense was popping, and like my first shiny was a Alolan Marowak off of that incense. Like,
jealous.
Almost immediately. And, like the Heatmores were popping. Like all the Pokemon that I really wanted were popping on my incense. I don't think there was Pokemon that I missed out on more or less.
And see, like
until day 2.
Some people are like, I don't see many unknowns. Like Lily, she's like, I've only seen one unknown.
Oh.
And me walking with my incense, by the time I saw her, I was like, I had seen like 10 or 15.
Yeah, I'd seen them. They were like,
what are you talking about? They're
interwoven.
Everywhere.
It was like Alolan Marowak, unknown.
Yeah.
Heatmore, unknown. Litwick, unknown.
And
Alolan
see,
Marowak.
I think my one complaint I would say, just because I know their capabilities, was like Bronzor Spotlight Hour and Galaxy Community Day had some of the best spawns I've ever seen.
Yeah, just spawns in general.
Which I was like, I wish GoFest kept that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't mad that they did it the way they did it, because obviously there's more species. It might seem like there's not as many, but I was like counting. I was like, yeah, I could walk into a spot and there'd be like 20 Ghastly emerge.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there might have been like 12.
Mm-hmm.
12 of the variety pack of Pokemon for that hour. Which, again, they weren't bad. And like you said with the incense, you're actually getting a little bit more rare Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they'd come quick. I just get mad because if you're not a speed catcher, like you do a little ball trick and throw the ball. I only
speed catch. Even on like raids and other stuff, it's like a hard habit to break.
And see, I can't speed catch when I'm dual phoning.
Yeah, that's hard.
So I'm like, 1, 2, and then I'm like waiting, like son of a bitch, get caught. But I eventually started to get the thing down, and then I was using the gotcha on my phone that could process it, and I was like, all right, you sit in my pocket. I'm going to just hunt on this one, get as much as I can, and switch out and try to do something like that.
Maybe if you could just, just like meditate and then go Goro, or I guess Pokemon-related Machamp, and just grow 2 more arms.
It's goals. I'll have to really focus and maybe watch a YouTube tutorial, but I think I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe TikToks. They got some pretty...
TikToks do a lot of dances and
education.
Self-help. Yeah, education. But no, like, and so I thought in terms of that was my only real critique for day 1. I didn't bother with hatching eggs. I left that alone because I've been fooled way too many times with Niantic hatch egg schemes. Done with it. I think I hatched 1 egg and then I just left it alone. I never touched it again.
They need to revamp the eggs.
They do. Like, I like the fact, again, because of COVID, they reduced the egg distance, and I think for the event it was also reduced. I just didn't waste my time because they had the thing like, oh, you could find all the babies and shiny Riolu and blah. I was like, nope, I'm not going to waste it. You're not going to get my incubators. I'm just hunting all these rare Pokemon to get all these new shinies.
That's fair.
And then going into day 2, again, day 2 is just an added bonus. Again, because most players only get 1 day. Day 2, I was kind of open to whatever.
Yeah.
But of course, had the high hopes it was going to be Shadow Pokemon. And I was not wrong.
Technically was.
Just not in the regard I would have liked.
Right.
So obviously I was hoping for more Shadow Pokemon in the wild. Like, I wanted Professor Willow to go into like a cutscene of like Mewtwo breaking out and all these Shadow Pokemon breaking out of like the Viridian City Gym.
I was just thinking Pacific Rim, like the giant tear opens and
all the kaijus are
all the Shadow Pokemon just popping up.
That would actually be pretty awesome. But no, it was a lot of, hey, just fight all these rockets, and the grunts were everywhere. Yeah. The bosses were everywhere, and the bosses, because they heard the woes of the many who cannot fight them, and I see it all over Pokemon Go Colorado, Pokemon Go Aurora, of like, how do I beat Cliff? How do I beat this person? And I can empathize to a degree.
Okay.
Because I've bitched about them too, like, man, this person's hard to beat. But then I also remember there's technology like Google.
Oh,
and YouTube and things where you can do the research and do the typings, and there's infographics.
Why would I use Google if I can annoy JackJack 1620?
It's just upsetting.
You're better than any Google machine.
No,
I can ask you, and you can be really annoyed with me.
I am but a man.
And you can give me an answer that I'm not looking for.
No.
All right?
No.
And then we will have made everybody's day even worse.
Yeah, no. And that's who I saw a lot of. So these trainers are a lot easier. They were using the older Pokemon. So they were like Pineco, and not even Pineco, like Pinsir and all those guys. Mawile. They threw all the old boys out there. And they were still really easy to take. Like, I was beating up Zapdoses with Machamps. Not even rock sliding, just punching the fuck out of that bird. So...
They were a lot easier. Even Giovanni was easy.
Yeah, like, you can take him and then Shadow Mewtwo.
Looks dope.
Oh my god. As soon as I saw him at the end of day 1, I fangirled out. Because I was like, this looks amazing. I can't wait to catch him.
Still wish I would get a shiny.
Yeah, he would have been sweet. Or if he would again had the original Pokemon movie armor. I'm still going to advocate for that. Like,
it's never going to happen.
Put those positive vibes out there into the world.
Never.
But
going to
Shadow Mewtwo is awesome. And also the fact that they brought back the legendary birds, Shadows.
Yeah, and the fact that the quest was built to where you automatically get those.
Yeah. So that was great. And I love that because there's some people who I'm sure are still like... It still blows my mind because it's like these trainers aren't level 10. Like, these are trainers in their, like, high 20s, early 30s who are like, I'm still have all these missions. Where do I find a Ditto? And I'm like, how have you made it this far? Even as some people call them filthy casual, like, how did you get this far and not encounter a Ditto? It blows my mind. Like, I can run into Dittos at fucking King Supers.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
Trying. But I still, like, where do I find these guys? I think I've caught a Ditto like
Pokemon? Every community day.
At least. At least.
Sure.
Even when we're walking Mission Viejo Park, I've ran into Dittos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's another Ditto around the corner. Hour later, hey, look, another Ditto. So I just don't understand that.
I'm still thinking about the shiny Ditto and how they're going to implement that.
It's going to have to be like a community day.
Ditto community day?
That'd be awesome. It'd just be a bunch of Pokemon that could be shiny and you get hopes and it's not. And he just transforms. It'd be the greatest joke. Maybe they could do that for April.
I would love
just do like an April Fools and... But like,
they're already doing April Fools in fucking August this year.
Oh, with fucking Magikarp Community Day.
Oh, real quick. I just wanted to give a big fucking shout out to Turtle Master. You fucking called it Shiny Unknown. On our last podcast, he commented, he was like, I'm calling Shiny Unknown because it'll be widely available. Sure shit. Shiny Unknown was there. And I even heard through the grapevine that you, Kyle, got one. So, congratulations. Because you were just talking about it. You called it. So, big shouts to Turtle Master. He's a boss.
You put those vibes out there, man. The world heard
I do think it was funny that Niantic was like, well, we'll make them shiny, but we'll only give you 2.
Yeah, that was...
just the G and an O.
Go, baby,
or
go.
As Teresa called it, the steering wheel.
The steering wheel. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, the G and the O was all that was out there. But I guess the rest of the unknown can now be shiny, maybe?
Maybe? I'm sure they'll release it.
If we ever happen
odds
to find a unknown in Denver or whatever...
And it's shiny.
Cool.
Yeah.
Congrats to you. You got the exclamation
I just wanted
point.
J.
I wish there was an Interrobang.
A what?
Interrobang.
What the fuck is that?
It's a combination question mark and exclamation point. It's called an Interrobang.
I did not know.
It's a real thing.
Huh. Intriguing.
There you go. Use your fucking Google machines, kids. And you can look up Interrobang.
Fancy that. Well, again, day 2 was interesting because, again, the rockets were ever. I wish there was a way to just kind of like stop.
Just turn off rockets.
I was just trying to spin stops because by day 2, I'm sure like everyone else who was like a hardcore player was like, I need Pokeballs.
Facts.
And so when you're trying to spin stops and every time you're having this encounter, it's taking... That's potentially one good spawn from your instance that you don't get to interact with. Every single time.
Well, yeah.
That's annoying.
Well, I agree. However, the rocket grunts and leaders and all that shit were so easy
They were.
On day 2.
But if you fight them, that's at least 3 Pokemon you're missing from your incense.
Just beat their ass real quick and they'll be out of your face.
No. That's why, again, I'm not sponsored, but get a Pokemon Go band or the gacha.
There's a gacha?
Yeah. That you can set to spin stops. So if you want to fight them, you can. But at least it could spin stops for you. So if you don't even want to deal with stops, set it to just catch for you.
Gacha gets to ignore stops or ignore.
Yeah, you can set it. Well, no, you can set it to just take stops or to catch Pokemon or both.
Right.
So I would just have it set to just spin stops if I wanted to shiny check Pokemon.
Right.
Because at some point, because again, Alolan Marowak and all those guys.
Yeah.
By default, the gacha isn't just going to catch them. So I was missing more than I was catching. So eventually,
our buddy, he lost 3 shiny unknown because of his gacha.
Who?
Dreamer. It was 3 shiny unknown, and there was another shiny. He lost 4 shinies because his gacha failed to catch them.
Oh my god!
Anyway,
the heartbreak.
So yeah, if there's a big event like that and you want a shiny check, I would highly recommend that you do not set your gacha to automatically catch all your Pokemon.
Yes, I took that off as soon as I was noticing like whole fields on one phone of like Pokemon. I was checking them. It was Chris's. I'm checking all his, and I look at mine. The field was just dead. But then I look in my inbox and nothing new had caught. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got to squash that. And that's why I started playing dual phone.
Yeah. So, get a gacha if that's for you.
Yeah.
Make sure, double check, use your fucking Google device to make sure that the gacha will work with your phone, because I think you said you were having issues with your iPhone 10 or 11.
iPhone 11 for some reason wasn't syncing correctly, but iPhone 10 worked like a charm.
Right. So just double check that if you're interested in them. And they used to sell them even at like GameStop and stuff.
Yeah, they range in price.
But anyway, but you don't have to. You don't want to. They're handy tools. I don't have one. Jack has one. He uses the shit out of it.
I do.
And I
specifically for babies.
Yeah, or it's really good for other accounts too.
But what was it? The other thing with second day. So obviously lots of rockets. You can get a lot of Stardust, a lot of shadows. Even fucking Chris has got a shiny shadow Beldum, and I wanted to scream, but then I also knew it's his account. He has the dumbest of luck, so I was like, it makes perfect sense.
This has some pretty dummy thick look.
Dummy thick. The other thing was that I was kind of curious about that we thought about later was like the Darumaka's were just nowhere.
Just gone. Yeah.
I don't think I saw too many of the regionals that I was hoping for as much as I would have liked.
Like what? Durant
and Heatmore were the main boys. Like I still saw them, but not nearly to the frequency.
Based?
Heatmore is still here in America. It's just they're not common.
They're rare. I think. Okay, I have seen Heatmore here.
It's like it's in the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
Durant, I think, is more like Africa or like Europe. If I'm mistaken, I apologize, but it's not here in the States. So it's one of those ones that, again, that shiny. It's like a kind of copper. It's more of a copper color. He looks cool, but I didn't see too many of them, and I was running incense consistently, stacked them, made sure they were good, and I was checking both accounts.
Yeah.
Of course, Chris has got one. As I'm driving up the street, I just happen to click it because it shows, and it's like shiny. It's actually right where I found my shiny hippo on my main account like several weeks back. So I was like, that spot's my spot, next to the spot in front of the courthouse at Aurora Municipal Center.
Okay.
But that was my only qualm with that. Next to this, you having to interact with the rocket, with the grunts at the stops.
Okay.
Was that some of the day one Pokemon just weren't there for day two, or at super low frequencies.
Yeah, I do. So because I was going through the value of it all in my head, because it's the ticket itself is $15.
It's solid.
Get to play anywhere. So if you have a place where you like to play that has a high spawn rate, like Aurora Municipal Center for us, or Wash Park, and a lot of people went to Wash Park and they absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So that I think it was totally worth it just off of that, and even just off the first day, because usually GoFest tickets are $20. And yeah, they're really themed, and obviously you're paying for like the booths and all the other stuff. But like ultimately, I think, like I said, even first day alone was worth it because you only get one day when you normally go to GoFest.
And it's a shorter day too.
Yeah, and so you get, you got to do your, we got the second day, which, like you said, felt like a bonus essentially.
Yeah.
And then you still got some good stuff. Like I think the shiny rates were a little worse on the second day, maybe the same. Which, again, for the whole event, I wish they were tuned up just a little bit. But again, I didn't really predicate my liking of this event to how many shinies I got. It was more along the lines of what Pokemon were available to me. How did I like the themed event? How did I like the hours? I really liked the themed hours.
Hours were beautiful.
Like the fire hour, water. I think fire hour is my favorite. But then like the water grass hours are good too. Oh, I like the combat or the battle hour. I really enjoyed those themes.
Do you wish they would have kept that for day 2?
I kind of do, just because, or at least like change it up a little bit, because like again, you could do the rocket stuff in the first hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, I think I got both of our Mewtwo's in the first 56 minutes.
You could do that, and then like you can't turn off rockets, and like the whole day is just rockets. And I understand like not everyone's gonna play the way we do. Not everyone can play at 10 in the morning on Sunday. Not everyone can play. Because people are still going to churches or
whatever,
drive-in church or drive-in theater or whatever. There's people are still really busy.
Yeah,
and I do like that the event did last 10 hours. Right? Was it 10? From 10 a.m. to
it was 8.
10 to 8?
No, you're right. Shit, it is 10 because it was.
Either way, so I really liked that the event lasted 10 hours. I liked how the first day was split up, or was just 1 hour for this, and then like it recycled again in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. I do kind of wish that the second day had more theme stuff. Like you can keep the rocket stuff while doing fire theme, or while doing water theme, or some of that stuff, or like maybe just keep it battle theme all day, or something like that. I think that would have been really interesting. I think the other thing that I wish I could have seen just a little bit more of, and this is just my greedy brain talking, is like the first day.
Greedy brain.
The first day is like they had, with all of those events, they had all the challenges, quote unquote challenges, like a worldwide challenge, like, all right, trainers catch 3 million Pokemon in an hour. Like, oh no, that's super hard, for everyone playing. So that was done in like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so that was cool, because then like it would unlock double candy for all these rare Pokemon you never get to see. And then like the next bonus was like triple catch Stardust or something like that. And I was like, I was all in on that one for sure.
I wasn't even reading shit. I was just like
doing it. I mean, that makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, they had those bonuses, and that bonus only lasted for that hour that people met the challenges.
Yeah,
I think it would have been really cool to see those bonuses be carried over into the second day. Because everyone did the challenges so well on the first day, why not just have them unlocked for the entire second day?
Yeah. And then even you could add on top of that just other perks. So it might be like, hey, we're going to give you extra experience for this. Or even more different is like, we're going to give you 2-hour lures or 2-hour incenses instead of 1 hour.
Yeah.
That was another qualm I had, was like, okay, I'm going to throw down an incense and it wouldn't last long.
One time I'm using my incense.
Yeah, like I saved them. I was like, okay. And I even, again, I was a weak bitch, and I was like, money, here you go. You got
one of the cool boxes?
I did. Like, I bought the rocket box, because again, it was another 4 radars.
The money you put in was for the storage increase.
Yes. That was like, as soon as they announced it, it was an expected.
For adding.
It was expected. I was like, they're playing games if they don't. And sure enough, Dotman X is like, I can't believe it that they did it. I was like, I expected it. And as soon as I saw it, it was bought. Like, maxed out. I think I went into GoFest each day with roughly 850 slots. And each day I filled it. Like, I was like, I'm going to get as much as I can. I think even with that, I must have caught over 2,000 Pokemon. So I'd fill them both, and then I was still deleting Pokemon, and then going forward, trying to stat check for PvP, for Go Battle, or for 100%. No real luck on 100%, but at the same time, I didn't care. I was just trying to maximize my play. But day 2, yeah, again, it was a bonus. So to me, just having that was top notch. But again, going forward for them, I hope like they do things like they keep those hourly challenges for next year, or maybe they do another event just to experiment. Maybe they could even do a Halloween event. I would love that. Love that. Because, again, give us something to do for the fall. Keep the interest alive. Mm-hmm. Especially because I think for America, since we're one of the only nations that are still struggling unnecessarily, but I'm sure you guys know why. They can give us something to do to keep morale high. Because people are anticipating fall is going to be a really hard fall.
Of course.
In every sense. So I think hope we get something fun to do for that. And not to mention I love the fall. A lot of people like fall.
Yeah, my favorite season.
Yeah. But the incense stuff, just give us those perks again. Again, some of those community day shit, I wish they would have just had at GoFest. Like the 3-hour incense. That would have been, or 3-hour lures. That would have been beautiful. Because we could have lured up every spot and been set, and people could have just enjoyed it. People wouldn't have been like kind of stressed because they were dying. Like those lures.
The lures, yeah,
they were dying every.
Were they 30 minutes or 1 hour?
They're 1 hour.
Okay.
But if people were there and it didn't last and you didn't have it, then you're just like day 2. For half the time we were walking, there was no lures because I had pretty much maxed out my bag, and I bought like 3 packs of the whatever 8 or 6 packs that they had, and or whatever the packs are. I was like, here, take my monies because I want to keep this lit, and then it would just die out, and I was like, this is
kind of interesting. Like on one hand, like it sounds like, hey, we expect a bunch of people to be able to play like in these areas or whatever.
Yeah.
So help your friend out. You use a lure, they use a lure. They use and keep trading out or whatever. On the other hand, like it would just be nice to just get even more bang for your buck. Make Pokemon Go seem like it's the most like bang for your buck. Make it seem like it's totally worth your investment. Because I know there's obviously other flaws in the game in terms of like their base code, even and some of the other glitches and stuff that you have. Obviously it's not a perfect game whatsoever. But for what it does bring to the table, I think there's a lot of good value in there, and I think there's a lot of good fun in there. But like, just run with it. Like, even if you're on top, run just with it. Get even better.
Like they say, give the gays what they want. Just give the players what they want. Give us everything possible, and it's only going to be for a weekend. But they would have seen an even higher appreciation for the game and more people wanting to play to be like, damn.
Though on the opposite side, I wonder if the reason they didn't do that is because they didn't want to feed into the FOMO aspect of it. So the people that didn't purchase the pass, because there were a few of them out there, like imagine getting all of those incentives, which you still got a ton, already for this, but you get even more incentives, and like, people are gonna be like, well, you just have to pay to enjoy the game now.
Pay to players.
Pay to play, or blah 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 blah, and you're just like, not necessarily. I just think like when this is your pinnacle annual event, because there's only one GoFest as far as we know.
Yeah.
When it's your pinnacle annual event, like it's it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Make it that thing. Make it awesome. Make it the best.
And then not to mention, people also forget about why, like the other causes GoFest was going to be supporting.
Yeah.
So they're going to be donating part of their funds over to black businesses that are in like AR kind of industry, trying to boost them up too, and other kind of growing industry or growing people in the field. Yeah. I thought that was a good reason. Like that was actually something that me and Tech9 were talking about when we were out there playing. It was just kind of like, hey, I like the cause. That was one reason I bought it. And that was his response, and I was like, I agree. And we're just kind of walking around, and we happen to be walking by the Aurora like memorial that they had, and we're like, yeah, like there's causes that are worthwhile that you should be supporting, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Because again, not many other companies, and people can have their take on the whole police brutality stuff because there's, I guess, positions to have on that, but at least with businesses and want to show support, that's a good community support, which is what the game has always been about.
Yeah.
And so that alone was another reason I was like, yeah, that's super cool. Plus, I think people are going to have FOMO regardless, because even with GoFest, people are like, well, I couldn't go because of this, because of locations, because of time, because of travel.
Right.
This eliminated all that to say you can play from home.
Yeah.
And people still are finding reasons. So to me, it's like some of those people who are still constant excuses. I was like, you're never going to be happy, so I can't take your opinion seriously at that rate if you're going to constantly complain. Because again, complaining about $15 compared to complaining about $20 plus hotels, airport, or driving, plus food, plus like all your travel expenses.
Yeah.
It's way more than $15.
True.
And you still have to spend the time. So adults are spending like PTO or whatever, or they're saying like if family member is fakely sick so they can travel somewhere, whatever. Those are more cost than the $15 it took just to play this for this weekend.
Yeah, I see that. And like I said, I think $15 was a good price point in general.
Yeah.
Just for the event itself. That's not even including, like you said, the cause that you're backing. They promise at least $5 million plus whatever from their profits. Like Niantic is a very lucrative company. Like they have I think their net worth's like $3.6 billion with the B.
Wild.
And they have 3 main IP or 3 main games, and they're working on a whole bunch of other shit at the same time. They've been acquiring companies left and right to help work on these things. But ultimately, like, it's nice to know that my $15 didn't just go straight to their pockets for profits. It was going for great causes that I would like to support.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like, I think it was a fairly comfortable price point. Like, you can easily spend $20 to get, what is it, the 2,800 coins or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then use that to buy more boxes or raid passes or whatever, so you can keep up with the game. $15 is less than that, and I think it was totally worth it. It's so much so that I saw Keith at MVP when I was walking the dogs. And Keith is Mr. I do not spend money on this game, like, ever.
And I was like, oh, like I saw his gift and it had little GoFest sticker, and I was like, look look what's changed.
Even Keith, caved in or whatever you want to call it. So I was just like, I thought that was really interesting.
I'll say he leveled up. Because he knew, he's been smart about this whole time, not spending a dime, and I can appreciate that diligence.
Yeah.
But then again, weighing the pros and cons of it, this event at the end of the day, I think for the most part, for all the other perks minus shinies, was still very much worth it. Like Shadow, Mewtwo, Shadow, and all that. We don't know when that's going to come out. That's part of the FOMO, but at least you got that out of the way. And again, it wasn't announced. I did a great job keeping that under wraps. The unknowns, that was, if you didn't have an unknown, now was your fucking time. If you didn't have those regionals, that just saved you a trip or having to coordinate with trades, and I can speak to trading and how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
That's a big help to people. And
then, like, just as a quick aside, like, even if you didn't buy the ticket, you still got to enjoy some of the things that
like Alolan Marowak and...
Yeah, some of those spawns still came out for everybody, so it was really interesting to see.
Yeah.
So ultimately, like I said, I was pretty pleased with the event. It went about as like I honestly thought it would, in terms of just like the event itself. Now, like, we're obviously things that we missed on our predictions episode or whatever. I was hoping they had alluded to, and maybe that was just their summer splash art as opposed to GoFest, but they were alluding to Gen 6 starters and Megas. Though they did recently have something about Megas. They did a developer interview, and they were talking about the level cap. So the level cap's going to 50. Mm-hmm. However, even if you have 10 billion experience, you're not just going to automatically get level 50. You're actually going to have to work for it. I like that. I think it's...
I'm sure the experience will still be a part of it, but you have to do other things to still level up.
Right, and that's what they made it sound like. Like, it's not just experience. It might have to be like, you still have to go catch 2,000 Pokemon, or you have to go battle 1,000 trainers, or you have to do this.
I hope they involve some of the medals. But that's what you have to have this medal complete.
Yeah.
And if they say you have to have the Shadow Rocket medal complete, GoFest people, if you weren't taking advantage of fighting all those rockets to get that gold, you were foolish. Because that was like the perfect time to just fight everyone.
Well, just in general, like these balloons, like the balloons popping on GoFest, they just like drop, like air dropping on you every 5
like
seconds.
Giovanni, Arlo, Cliff, Sierra. I was like, yeah.
I think the balloons should just stay, but that's me.
At that frequency.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's Mad Stardust. You can just get battle Pokemon.
Yeah, give me more Stardust. That's the only reason I'm looking forward to next Community Day, because otherwise it's a fucking joke. Anyway,
it's a complete wash.
Literally a complete wash. But anyway, I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, we're just talking about kind of perks.
Oh, the developer interview.
Yes.
So we get the level capped to level 50. You're gonna have to do other things other than just experience, which excites me because when I hit 40, I wasn't like, I have to keep getting experience. I need to show the world that I have 200 million experience. Like, one,
that makes me so good.
That's fascinating. I'm proud that you have a level 40 account 20 times over.
Cool.
That's really interesting. I don't, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
However, I'm really interested. I've always been interested in trying to get like a little bit of depth out of the game. So, I want them to use special researches more. I wish there was more to the special researches at GoFest. Like, yes, have the main one, but then like for every, like, I know they have the challenge every hour, but like, why not just include other special, like little special researches here on the side or whatever? Like, oh, I discovered this during the fire hour, and like, you should go do this, and like, or maybe break out the main special research into other like smaller batches of researches. But anyway, I'm always looking for depth. I'm always looking for different ways to enjoy the game and that aspect, because it is Pokemon. There's a lot of lore in Pokemon, and I think Pokemon Go can benefit from diving into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
The other thing with the developer interviews, they mentioned megas, and I guess they said that your existing Pokemon will be able to mega evolve, and I'm not sure what that means.
I'm like screaming internally because I don't want to break the mag.
Well, it's kind of like what you were talking about with, best friends. Best friends, because it was funny because we were talking. Brian Heber. I don't know if you saw that message the other day, but he posted the developer interview, and then he posted like maybe it will have to be best friends. It was like Jack said that like a month ago.
As soon as Best Friends came out.
Yeah, Jack said that like a billion years ago or whatever. But anyway, I was thinking, I'm curious to see how they do it. Like, is it going to have to be a Megastone thing? Is it going to have to be like, I feel like Best Friends should be a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. Dive into that system a little bit more. People actually start caring about it a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who I see have the same best friend and haven't changed them, and I'm like, you could change it, right?
Yeah,
they're like, it won't be lost. And again, these are players who don't experiment out of the fear, but again, that's where you can either talk to players who you might, again, I wouldn't consider that a silly question.
Okay.
But again, there's still Google. There's still Reddit.
Use your Google machine.
Use them resources.
At your fingertips.
Please.
If you can play Pokemon Go, you can look at
you can
Google
find
on your
everything.
Phone. Yeah.
There shouldn't be those questions of like some, it always boggles my mind, like every community day, every major event that Pokemon are going to be out, someone's always like, where's the best place in Aurora to go play Pokemon? And I'm like,
where is the best place in Aurora to go play Pokemon? That's
AMC.
AMC's a good one, except for
AMC, Side Park or Side Creek Park, Mission Viejo Park.
Wow.
And Centennial. Wow. There's the Centennials.
CCP.
Yeah, CCP Centennial Central Park or whatever that is off of Arapahoe.
Okay.
And Revere. Denver. You can go down to
Park?
Wash Park. You can go to 16th Street Mall. You can go to the Denver Zoo, which is open.
City Park.
They just increased the capacity to 700 people per hour, whatever that is. Central Park. Like, there's places everywhere, and to me, just research your local parks.
Okay, well, be sure that I'm going to ask that next time too. So.
No.
Yep.
Please don't.
Where is the best whip?
But it's just those basic things that people don't do the research for and just want others to answer.
Do you have any ghost nests? Okay, anyway.
That's one of my pet peeves with this game is just people's lack of doing research, and it's not that hard.
But it's also not hard to just answer my question, Jack.
But I just do the easier thing of just ignoring it and not answering you and letting someone else take that energy because I just don't need to.
Look, we have a lot of there's a lot of resources out there.
Mad resources.
It's really easy to look up.
mad
And
resources.
if you're on certain things like, different Facebook pages or Slack groups, or you're in Discord, you can always scroll up to previous or scroll down to previous posts.
And see, even that talk about the best friends thing, that was a conversation in person. Yeah. I could answer that right there. I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
It's when you're on Facebook and you're on technology and you're not using technology to just get your question answered. Wait, you saying yourself.
That Google Chrome isn't just a Facebook scanner? I don't just go to Facebook and that's it on Google Chrome?
No.
You're talking about when I open that new tab, it automatically just brings me to a Google search engine that I just put Facebook in? Or Pornhub? Anyway,
I digress. No. It's one of those things, and again, I'm hoping they do that with the increase in the level cap.
Okay.
They said it was gonna be sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of making sure, again, I have buddies I'm working up toward, but at the same time trying to complete other things in the game that have commonly been ignored. Like, I just looked at my medals. I still don't have a gold medal for the big Magikarps. I think I'm like 12 away, so I was like, okay, maybe that's when I can get that shit done.
Community day?
Yes. Some of the others, I was like, maybe one of the requirements might be like, okay, you have to have 30 gold gyms. I would love to see them bring in, again, the other attributes of the game and make that part of your leveling experience to get to the highest level, is saying, hey, maybe you have to have 30 gold gyms in order to get this.
Okay.
That's going to rejuvenate some of the people who want to, if that's a thing.
So when it does come to that, which should be really interesting, and then you hit level 50, what do you want to see?
I want to see breeding. I want to see that beforehand.
Breeding, yes.
Or like a shiny charm to get more shinies, or maybe it lets
That's what I want to get at.
Maybe it lets you pick, because again, not everyone has the same goal of get shinies.
Okay.
So if it lets you pick, it's like, would you want to include stronger
level
Pokemon?
50 to start breeding? Like there's a level cap for breeding?
Maybe it's level 45. I think.
Well, I'm saying, but there's a level cap for breeding. You think that would be?
What do you mean? Like
you have to be that level to breed. You can't breed if you're a lower level trainer.
Yeah. Just like how you can nominate stops. I think it should be something like that. Like once you achieve this pinnacle, you get a new perk.
I think so too.
And so that would be something I hope, because if I could breed the dragons, like I know Sully is like one of those dragon master folks, like I'm sure he would love that. And there's other players, like for me, if I could breed and get shinies, like breed shinies, get a shiny, gang, like I would be doing that. Or if you choose, like I want a shiny charm, so instead of being able to breed, I let that go, and I'm like, I just want to encounter more shinies. It increases my luck.
Yeah,
by like 20%.
Totally cool. I'm waiting to see the real money exploits for that. But
there's going to be a lot of them, I'm sure. Or others, maybe it's like, I want more incubators. Maybe that's something, maybe not at 50, but you might get more space.
Give me another infinite incubator and 12 egg slots.
Something like, I think maybe that could be a level 45 perk, is like, we're going to up this for you since clearly you're good at this. But I think it should be based on how the player likes to play their game.
So be more almost like specialized in terms of what you do. Almost like how we originally thought that picking your team mattered.
Bless you.
That you're picking your original team mattered. Like we all were like, oh, instinct players will have better egg hatching.
I still believe that's true.
I don't. But
it's probably that bro science, but I still believe it.
But I'm saying, like, ultimately, like, something like that. Like, it would be cool. However, I do think it should be able to be flexible. Like, you don't just lock into one and you keep it that way the entire time. Almost like picking, like, a job in an MMO type game. Like, I don't want to always be a warrior. So, like, Final Fantasy 14, like, the idea is you level one character up to the... Like, you play one class to the top, and then you can use that same character, can just take on another job, and they can be a tank, or then you can swap. You could be a healer, you can swap, you can be damage. And the idea is it's the same one character. You don't have to create a new character for each type. It'd be, like, the same thing. So I think that'd be cool. Like, I'm a level 50 trainer, and right now I'm just focused on making my Pokemon fuck. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to make eggs.
And see, again, with level 50, it might be like we talked about before. Like, maybe at 50, you can elect to become a gym leader, and they open up that perk if they evolve the gyms more. Or it's like, hey, you're at level 50. Do you want to be able to have access to other zones?
And I think
like the world is kind of at their fingertips with this.
And I think ultimately, in a really weird but interesting sense, is I think that would help bolster the sense of community. Like, I know there's Breeder Corner. I know JackJack1620 is the golden goose of breeding. Like, every time he breeds, he gets like a shiny every other egg or some nonsense like that or whatever. You know, like...
Or level 50 makes a trading cost. It's like nothing.
Okay, well, that's just pipe dreams.
I want.
I know.
don't knock my dreams. I gotta shoot high, man.
Where's my beauty contest? No, anyway.
I'm sure someone wants to. I'm sure, like, players who do dress up my
Pokemon.
They have competitions for that. Yeah. Like, whatever lounges, how that operated. Who knows?
I would love to see that. You know, we just entered year 4 of Pokemon Go.
Wild.
And a lot of it's still the same, but a lot of it is very different. And they can still push the boundaries and make it even better. So I'd be really curious. But I would love to see that. Because I think if you did that, if you could choose to be a breeder, if you could, specialize more or less, that it would help bolster your community. Because like I said, I could always, I know I can go to JackJack1620 for breeding, or I know I can go to keyboard mashing if I want to get my dick punched in a battle, or I can go to all these other various people because they're you're kind of building out a community in their specializations or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. That was a quick developer interview after GoFest, talking about level 50. Curious what they're going to bring to the table. I hope it's not just you're 50 and you got 20 Ultra Balls, or something like that. We got Community Day for August. They announced is going to be Magikarp, which is a joke. The only thing that makes it not a joke is they're giving us 3 times Stardust. So true. Unfortunately, I will be playing Magikarp Community Day. What's sad is they had Magikarp out for the water part of GoFest.
Didn't you get a shiny
And I'd been wanting more shiny carps, and I got one, and it's a beast. And I was like, shit, I got another shiny carp because I hadn't really been hunting them in the past. And then sure as shit, now it's a whole ass community day. So yay, or whatever. I think what they should do is take those hours and make those community days. I want a fire community day, not just a Charmander, not just a Pokemon. Like I want a battle community day where I can get the Durants and I just want more Durants and or whatever. And the Gibbles and
that was the other thing too that again went under the radar. So obviously Durant and them are regional and they gave shinies.
Yes.
And then, we've had the old Gen 1 shinies. So when is Tropius' time?
Tropius will never get his shiny.
Shut up.
Tropius,
I want him.
The banana dinosaur.
I love him so much.
Garbage.
Shut up.
JK, I love him, and he's always getting banned. But anyway,
he's too good. He's too good for this world.
He's too good for Great League for sure. I don't know. I've been wondering about that too, because lo and behold, the next time they do a regional shiny event, it'll be just Gen 1 again.
The other sad part was
where's my Galarian Farfetch'd?
No. What happened to Alolan Raichu?
No one cares.
Where was he? We missed him. Day 2, Alolan Marowaks were everywhere.
He was getting his his tan on.
Just like you, my first click, Day 2, shiny Alolan Marowak, and I was like, yes, queen.
Dude, I fucking love Alolan Marowak.
He's gorgeous. Simply gorgeous.
Really is.
And it's just one of those things, I'm hoping again, obviously, we're going to just give GoFest praises.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be built on from this. I think it was one of their best trials they've ran all year.
So next year, if the world gets back to normal, quote unquote.
The rest of the world is getting back to normal.
Well, I'm talking about
America.
America is the only world I care about. So
if we are in our own little planet.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Our own little disgusting planet. If the world gets back to normal, quote unquote, if America gets their shit together, does GoFest go back to a physical event? Do they do remote again? Do they do a combo?
I want remote, baby.
I want remote again because I enjoyed it and I was pushing for it after last year, and I think it'd be cool to have smaller physical events elsewhere.
Yeah.
But also like the remote GoFest I think was really great. And if they did, like I said, if they did a combo, they did a physical GoFest event that you could still travel to, get your ticket, but get different, like a little bit better incentives to go, but still give people worldwide the ticketed GoFest, you know, remote GoFest. I think that would be a win-win for everybody. Niantic would make way more money than they need to already. So,
boom.
Anyway, I'm just kind of curious to see what they do there. But look forward to eventually, sooner rather than later, level 50s. Mega Pokemon, your current Pokemon, I guess, will be able to Mega Evolve in however way they see fit. If it's like Mega Stones, the way they dropped Unova Stones or whatever, it'll be whatever. That's kind of lame, but who knows. And then, or if it's like you have a best friend Charizard, and you have to pay 400 Charmander candies to get it to Charizard X or Charizard Y.
Done.
I mean, done for most people, but...
And obviously, Shiny Gengar, Mega is where it's at, fam.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
I do like Shiny Mega Gengar.
Mm-hmm.
But then what about Galarian? Or Gigantamax? How are they going to do that in the future? Future!
Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
No. Again, I would want to hear your guys' feedback.
Yeah.
Guys, gals, distinguished gentle folk.
And dogs. Bring me your dogs.
Puppers. How you all felt with GoFest, your pros, cons, shinies you might have got. I know, like, we were doing shiny flexes.
Shiny flexes?
Yeah, some people were like, I caught my 4, and I was like, I'm glad you got something. I think for each of the accounts, I got about 23, 24.
Yeah, that's about normal.
Which is, again,
what I've been seeing.
Eclipses what I got being physically at GoFest.
Yeah, I got like a sick, modest, like I said, like 13, 14, 15 or whatever, which is fine solid. Because of how I was playing versus how I would have liked to play.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had been out there with you like on Saturday like I had planned, would have been a lot different.
Probably.
But I was still pleased with what I got. Other than the Mudkip, and then like
Mudkip is a slap in the face.
Yeah, I was just like, why are you?
He knows it.
Why are you here? I also got another Alolan Executor. Fun fact: it's 000 shiny.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, those are even rarer.
So anyway, I enjoyed that one, and I love my tall boys. But anyway, I ain't got nothing left for you folks. Thanks for listening, and yeah, we out.
Bye.
Also, Pikachu sucks.